Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inspiring Chaos. If you do not know who I am, hi, my name is Eunice. I'm the host and founder of this amazing and inspiring community, and welcome to another episode. I am very excited to have for today's guest, Emily Meadows. Emily, I literally love her so much. She's someone who I truly admire, someone who I look up to. And when I asked her if she wanted to form part of the podcast, and she said yes, I got very excited. And I honestly feel so honored that she decided to share her journey with all of us through the podcast. Um, Emily is an influencer, is a person who literally followed her heart, her passion, and decided to follow her dream of moving abroad and get her master's degree. And I really wanted her to talk about her journey, and her journey is super inspiring. I got inspired when I got to interview her, and I know you will when you get to hear her story. Her passion, her love, her creativity transmitted to the screen, and I adore her so much. I know for sure this is only the beginning of her career. I mean, she's already impacting millions of people, and I know she will continue to do that in her long career. And I just can't wait to see that happen. I mean, she's doing it now. Like, imagine later, that's gonna be crazy. And I can't wait to see it. And she does give her social media at the end, so stay tuned for a whole thing. Go follow her, and also follow us if you like to at Inspiring Chaos with Eunice. I did change that, so at Inspiring Chaos with Eunice, so everything can match. And yeah, subscribe as well if you like to our YouTube channel. I will also link Emily's socials down below and also her YouTube channel, so you can go subscribe and check it out. And yeah, that is all for the intro. I hope you have an amazing Wednesday, amazing day, wherever you're hearing this, seeing this, and happy Wednesday, happy Thanksgiving, and talk to you all next time. But now let's go on hearing Emily's inspiring story of success. For today's guest, we have Emily Meadows, who just turning her final project for her master's in web design and content planning at the University of Greenwich in London. Her dream job is to become a freelance designer and to continue to grow on her social media and create content for that. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So, firstly, congrats on turning in your final project. Uh,
Thank you.
you're currently living in London. Why did you decide to study abroad?
Well, it had always been on my bucket list to live abroad at some point in my life, and, like, that's been since I was little, so I didn't really know, when that was gonna happen, but after I completed my undergrad and was working for a while, I was like, "Okay, I feel like it's the time," but I didn't really know how to make that happen, and then I found out kind of getting a student visa is the most, like, straightforward way to do that, so I was like, "Okay, let's look into this," and then I knew I wanted to go back to school anyway, and I was like, "Might as well do it in London," you know? So I just decided to
Yeah.
go for that.
Working towards your dream is something that's very challenging sometimes. Who inspires you to not give up and continue working towards your goals?
I don't know if, like, a one specific person answer, but I feel like social media and seeing people succeed in creative jobs is,
Mm.
like, the most inspiring thing to me, and lately, like, on TikTok, I'll be seeing someone that's, like, does pottery for a living or, does all these cool, like, creative things, and it just really inspires me because, like, I have always well, not always, but up until kind of recently, I felt like only, like, the most amazing people can succeed in, like,
Mm.
creative careers, and so I didn't really think it was a practical route for me to go, so I tried a bunch of other things, and I was, like, trying to force myself to do something that wasn't a creative job, and then I was, like, seeing people that are able to be successful at it is, like, the thing that got me back into being creative as a job.
Yeah, I mean, you're inspiring millions of people through your YouTube channel.
Oh,
And
stop. I would okay, millions
yes.
is definitely a stretch, but
No, yes, you are. I mean, you're creating content inspiring so many people. What inspired you to start one?
um, so it's funny because I never really set out to, like, vlog as a, like, career or, like,
Yeah.
anything like that. My friend in college gave me a selfie stick, and one time we had a snow day on campus, and so I just took my camera around and, like, basically vlogged that day. At the time, it was, like, I don't know, like, 2014 or something, so I didn't really have a concept of, like, what vlogging was, but I put that video up and I just really liked it, so I started making videos of, like, other things to document my experiences, and then when I kind of really started taking it seriously was before I studied abroad in 2018 in Italy. I was watching a bunch of vloggers, like, that had studied abroad in Italy and kinda learning from them and really just enjoying kinda living vicariously until I got to go, and when I was, like, deciding to go, I was like, "I'm gonna vlog this because I know I liked watching it, so I feel like other people will like watching it, and maybe they can learn from my experiences as well." So that's really what kind of made me take it a little bit more seriously than just like walking around with a selfie stick.
Yeah. How did you manage school and creating content?
Well, school is definitely was my priority up
Mm.
until like, last week when I finished, which I'm still like very happy to be done. But so I always kind of had that in the forefront. So I made sure to get all my schoolwork, or at least like what would be due like soon, before I even thought about doing content creation or anything like that. But then most of the stuff I film, with the exception of like a couple sit down videos, is vlogs. So it's stuff I do anyway. So it's just you take the camera along and then you
Yeah.
find time to edit it whenever you can in between assignments, or if you need a break, because that's another thing. You can't just be working on school 24/7 or you will go crazy. So I was like, whenever I needed a break from school, I'd work on the vlogs or TikToks or whatever. And I feel like that was the way to kind of keep my sanity.
Yeah. What are some differences you have seen from undergrad to postgrad?
It's difficult to say because my undergrad was in the US and
Hmm.
my grad program is in the UK. And I feel like there's just educational differences, like in even in like between undergrads or grad programs in
Yeah.
each place. But for me, I felt like my undergrad, I was very much kind of led along, and you have assignments due like periodically throughout the course, and you have to stay on top of everything. With the masters, it's much more, of course there are assignments, but there's less assignments, there's less like hand holding throughout it. They kind of just give you an assignment, they're like, do this, and if you have questions, let us know. And then of course you have like, another thing is, I felt like in the undergrad, those assignments, they don't kind of build on each other. But this time, throughout the entire course of my program, I had to be working on a major project in addition to the like smaller projects I had to do along the way. So I really had to learn time management way more in my master's than I did in the undergrad.
I mean, you got your master's in web design. What attracted you to study that?
Um, so well, this kind of is probably too much backstory for this question, but basically, so I got my undergrad in psychology, and then I graduated, and I was like, this isn't really, I mentioned I felt more called to do something creative after that. So
Mhm.
then I went back and got another bachelor's degree in digital design, and or something digital design. I don't remember the exact course name. And then from there, I was like, I feel like I kind of got a late start at this. I really want to go, more in depth and do something that, I feel like web design really spans like a lot of different areas. You do the branding of the website and the content creation and the layout design, and it's just like all factors of design kind of mashed into one. So that's why I was kind of drawn towards this and this program in particular, because they really focus on like the artistic side and the more technological side, like coding and that kind of front end development and that kind of stuff. So I was like, this is kind of the best of both worlds. I get to be creative, I get to do a little bit of like logic, and
Yeah.
just do everything I like all in one.
Was there another career you were interested in, or was it something that?
So many, like okay, I said I graduated with psychology, but during my first undergrad, I changed my major 5 times. And I just feel like I'm someone that can really picture myself in a lot of different
Yeah.
like lives.
Areas?
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I was going to be a physical therapist because I like working with people. And then I realized there was a lot of science involved with that. Not really my thing. So then I was like, I'm going to do communication and be like a PR person. And then I was more drawn towards psychology. And yeah, I literally like every week I'm like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. So really
Yeah.
narrowing it down has been a challenge for me for sure.
What advice would you give anyone who wants to study web design?
I think, first of all, decide if well, you don't necessarily have to decide this right away, but you'll eventually see whether you want to do kind of the front end stuff where you're coding or like doing JavaScript and that kind of stuff, or the more artistic side. You can definitely do both, but I think when you have kind of a focus, it helps a lot. For me, with my psychology background, I'm really interested in user experience and kind of like learning how people best navigate through websites and stuff like that. So I think kind of drawing on your past experience, understanding like what really draws you to web design, and then kind of picking a not something to focus on because you want to learn it all, but something that you're like really most passionate about within the web design field.
Yeah, what advice would you give anyone who's interested in studying abroad?
Oh, do it. That's my first thing. And I know like a lot of people, because when I posted videos about studying abroad in Italy, a lot of people would message me being like, I'm really nervous to do this. I don't know. Like it seems like such a big thing, especially when you are in undergrad and college. That's you're like young. So you feel like this is the most you've ever been away from home, that kind of stuff. So I know that it can be definitely challenging and scary, but I promise if you have the opportunity to do it, it will like definitely be worth it to you. And then for like a master's, like this is your time to really get to experience like life in another country because
Mm.
I my student visa allowed me to stay throughout my whole program and then I can tack on a graduate visa for 2 more years. So if you want to like really understand what it's like to live abroad in another country, studying abroad is the way to do it.
What is something you wish you knew before moving abroad?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew so many things. First thing is about currency because the US dollar versus the pound really fluctuates a lot, and I feel like that would be the case in a lot of different places. So I would tell myself to save even more than I thought I needed.
Mm.
It's been definitely challenging to kind of adjust because every time I spend like £5 here, that's like $7 or $8. So it's I have to learn like that kind of aspect. Also just like understanding that not everything is going to be amazing immediately
Mm.
when you move somewhere. I think a lot of people get it in their head that like life's going to be, like a fairy tale or,
Yeah.
a supercut of all the amazing things. And I feel like also it's hard when you're online and you see people on TikTok or
Mm.
YouTube or whatever, like living what seems like amazing
Yeah.
lives and you don't see, behind the scenes. So I feel like I would like to let everyone know that there are going to be hard times and it's okay. Like you'll get through it, but you have to like go in with the expectation that life is not just going to suddenly become sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Yeah.
I feel
Uh,
like that's negative. It is amazing. Just
yeah.
know that
Um,
it's normal to feel like a little bit um
yeah.
like anxious sometimes or it's normal to not just be happy all the time when you're abroad.
Yeah. What are some skills that have helped you become successful?
Am I successful?
Yeah, you are.
I think well it depends on what kind of area of success I'm
Mm.
you know with web design. I feel like just being online and looking at websites and seeing um you know what things I enjoy as a user. That's something that I feel is a skill, kind of taking your own experience and putting that into your work. Um, Time management has really been helpful for me. Um, let's see. If you're into blogging, I would definitely recommend like Skillshare classes and stuff about how to use like Premiere Pro and stuff. Or just I mean, there's YouTube too. Um, yeah, I feel like there's so many different like areas of
Yeah.
skills that you know
Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self?
I think go with your instincts and follow your gut because I think I mentioned like I really fought this creative like path for myself for a long time because I was like I'm not good enough.
Mm.
I can't do it. But inside I knew that I was a creative person. I wanted to do something creative, but I was like it'll be a hobby, it'll be something else. I'll do something else more practical as a career. And I wish that earlier in life I would have followed my instincts and been like do
Yeah.
what you want to do what you
Yeah.
feel the most passionate about. So,
Yeah. For the last question, I wanted to ask you, how would you like to be remembered?
oh, I think, oh, that's a hard question. Mostly as someone that is kind and,
Mhm.
I, if we're thinking about like day to day life with people around us, I just want them to remember like that I cared about them and, that that they meant a lot to me. And then like bigger picture as someone that's helpful and kind and, wants to help other people and not be, very selfish, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yes, thank you so much. Would you like to share your social media with all of us?
Sure. So my YouTube, I think if you just type in Emily Meadows, you'll find me. You can add London to the end of that if you really want to get specific, but I think you'll find me. And then on Instagram, I'm at Emily Everywhere underscore. And then on TikTok, I'm at Emily Meadows underscore.
Thank you so much. You have reached the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in for the whole thing. Go follow Emily right now. As I mentioned in the intro, everything will be linked down below. So go follow her, go subscribe, go follow her on social media. And yeah, that is all. I hope you got inspired by Emily's story because I surely did when I got to interview her. And also follow us as well if you'd like to. I hope you have an amazing Wednesday. I hope you have an amazing week and talk to you all on Sunday. Bye.